Do you have a controlling spouse? Do you know someone who does?
Is your boyfriend so dominating you have very little input into your relationship?
That's not good.
Barry Tammy Smith here with Family with Purpose. We have
Been married for 25 years.
Two
That's
kids
crazy.
and 2 dogs. And although we would seldom intentionally try to hurt each other, we have had our share of trying to control the other person. I mean, it's a control relationship. And then if you don't know better, haven't been taught different, it's easy to fall into that.
Right. Or especially if it's been modeled to you in your family when you were younger even. Or in a relationship that you really respect, you see that. It's easy just to pick that up.
True story. Last video, if you haven't seen that, go back and watch it. We talked about 2 boxes in every relationship, but especially a marriage relationship. We have dreams, desires, and wishes in one box, and we have expectations in another box. And it all starts with dreams.
Yes. Even from a little girl, you dream what your wedding's going to be like and what house you're going to live in and where you're going to live.
And then at some point in the marriage,
yes,
those dreams, desires, and wishes get shifted into the expectations box. And the marriage relationship, the dynamic is instantly
And there's
changed.
no real recipe or no real time frame when that happens. It's just a mentality, perspective shift.
Yeah, because now there's no longer just one big me in the marriage. There's 2 big me's in the marriage. And when those 2 me's collide, there's really just 2 choices. Number 1, you can leave the relationship. You know, you just look at the other person and go,
I can't live up to your expectations, so I'm leaving.
And you're not living up to mine. Neither one of us
You're
can
a
live
bad
up.
spouse.
And that's what we ultimately say is, you know what? You're a bad spouse, so I'm just going to bail. The problem is that you have all these expectations and you just pick up that box and take it into your next relationship and find someone else to dump all of your
baggage really.
onto and all those
because
expectations.
If you did it in the first relationship, you are very much going to do it in the next relationship unless you get help.
And that's why your second marriage feels a lot like your first marriage for those of you who have done that.
And the second option that you can do if you decide just to bail, or you can
deal with it. And in order to deal with it, we play games.
Yeah.
One of those games is what we're going to talk about in this video is the control game.
That's a bad word because I have control issues sometimes.
And I think we all have, to some extent, control issues or a lack of control issues. But this is where there's a controlling and overbearing spouse that dominates the other spouse by explaining and explaining and explaining until the other spouse finally gets it.
Or gives in.
Or gives in and gives up. And they do what the controller wants. And this is what I was when we first started, and probably still am a little bit, but I have definitely gotten better. But I used to just explain.
Drives me nuts.
And she would then shut down, and that was her coping mechanism. Then that would make me mad.
But I'm like, I can't win, so yeah.
That was ugly. And then we talk like this. We end every
cycle.
sentence on a high note.
It's a vicious cycle. And that's why this game, a lot of couples end up constantly staying in this game and getting more and more frustrated. And love banks leave, which is another video for another time.
Yeah. And so when you're constantly controlling the other person finally gives in, then the controller goes, hey, I think this marriage thing is pretty good. Because the other spouse finally just gives up and says, okay, listen, we'll do it your way. If that's what it takes to make you happy, and if that's what it takes for you to think that we have a good marriage, then okay, that's what I'll do.
It's just less work. It's the easy way.
If that's the way your mom always did it, then I'll do it that way too. If that's the way your dad did, whatever it is, we'll do it your way. And maybe it's out of biblical duty. Maybe it's just to shut the other spouse up, which I think is what Tammy did a lot. Whatever it is, it's still stressful because the situation isn't natural to the person who's being dominated or controlled. Yeah. And she may have hit that bar for the guy, or vice versa. It goes either way. But sometime down in her 30s or 40s, the process begins to unravel. And whether you're the one controlling or the one being controlled, the problem is still me. It's still it's me right in the middle of the relationship.
It's just being covered over. It's not being fixed.
Absolutely. And that's why we have to keep our dreams, desires, and wishes box
in check.
As dreams, desires, and wishes, not expectations.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about why that happens and how that happens later on in other videos. But in the meantime...
Yeah, if you want to instantly change your marriage for the worse, move a dream, desire, and wish into an expectations box, because it'll do it every single time. Yep. Because think about it. Expectations, if they get met, there's no celebration.
It's
You go to a
expected.
job. You go to your job and you do your job and you do what's expected. Your boss doesn't come in and go, wow, that's fantastic.
Good job, honey.
I'm going to give you a raise for just doing what's expected.
Why don't you go home early today?
Now, sometimes you go above and beyond and you might get an attaboy. And then there's cause for celebration, praise.
But it's not a daily thing.
But
you do your job.
So if you have all these expectations on your spouse or somebody, a boyfriend or a girlfriend or some other relationship you have, even your kids to an extent, I mean, then we get a little iffy because we're training them.
But
But
it
we
still
don't
has
need
to
another
be
parent.
in checker and balanced. It has to be balanced.
When you're controlling your spouse, it's like you're being their parent. And your spouse does not need another parent. It's just, and if you do what's expected, there's no appreciation, there's no unconditional love. The intimacy is lost when that happens. You can't be controlling it. You got to make the choice today to skip playing all the games and work on your own heart. That's what's really important. And if you're willing to do your best to keep your dreams as dreams,
And not as expectations.
then post below just the simple word dreams. Just very simple. Just post the word dreams right now and below in the comments below. And as always, please like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. It helps us get the word out, a family with purpose. And if you haven't visited our website, check out fwponline.com. We've got information there as well as 7 different courses that we have available online for sale. Certainly things you can check out so that families can be happier and healthier. What are just a few of those courses, those titles?
Yeah, one of my favorites is Creative Family Nights. We give you gold. We give you family nights that you can do with your family that's intentional and fun.
On a budget. You can,
Yes.
you can use a lot of money or a little bit of money.
Right, it works for everybody, every kind of
We
family.
have one on discipline.
Yeah, one on discipline. Another one of my favorites is the marriage one, actually. We talk about how to have
That's
a
a big
fair
one.
fight and the love languages.
And it's on sale right now at the
Yes.
time of this
Yeah.
recording.
Yeah, so we have several. We have
One that's
about
not a favorite, but it's actually really important, is the epidemic of entitlement.
and technology. We have one on technology.
Kids and technology.
Yeah, so go check it out. We think that they'll all be helpful and give you many more tools for your tool belt of
Resources.
parenting.
Till next time, keep being intentional as a family with purpose because your family needs you.
Did you have a controlling
Sorry.
spouse?
I was looking down.
Do you have a controlling spouse? Do you know someone who does? Is your boyfriend
No.
so dominating? You have a little input into your relationship. What?
Is your boyfriend so dominating? And here she comes.
Is your boyfriend so dominating?
Just do it. Your smile look pretty. You're talking about the 2 years we got divorced. That's in another
That's
message.
okay. That's fine.
We don't want to keep saying that every time somebody's going to watch this whole thing. 2 years, we're going to get divorced. 2 years, we get divorced. We're going to divorce the first 2 years. Let's change it up. First 2 to 5 years were really rough. We're going to get divorced.
Just ripping like
I know, but I said we're going to, when we were practicing, I said, we'll talk about that in another video. And you actually said it, I'm like, and we'll talk about that in another video coming out.
Is this recording?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.